Here's what I learned at the end of my second week hosting a primetime cable news show. It is definitely a hard job. Don't get me wrong, it's an incredible job I'm privileged to have. But what I'm trying to say is that it's not always easy trying to figure out what news to cover every day. A lot of times there's both too much news and not enough news. When there's too much big news, the problem is trying to figure out what information you, the public, needs most in order to make smart choices about the way you work, live, and if you happen to be an elected official watching, even govern. And when there's too little news, there's definitely a temptation to take a bunch of little news and treat it like it's big news. So maybe that explains what Fox News did this week with their coverage of a single, innocuous 30-second promo by my very dear friend and colleague, Melissa Harris Perry.
We have never invested as much in public education as we should have because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
Right, not a big deal, right? But for reasons I genuinely don't understand, Fox decided this was the most scandalous pressing issue facing the nation.
Right now, some new reaction to a show promotion on the cable network MSNBC.
Do your children belong to you, or do they belong to the government? Now, according to NBC News' cable operation, it's not you.
You may have been given birth to them, but according to MSNBC, your kids belong to the community. MSNBC, Melissa Harris Perry says the collective is better. Your kids don't actually, belong to you.
She claims that, quote, the community owns your children, not you.
What this is she's passing the buck to Chairman Mao.
The nuclear family has always been under attack by communists, by leftists.
MSNBC has declared war on the American fabric.
This is utopia by force. This is how fascism becomes gift-wrapped as caring.
The Week's Matt Lewis likens her beliefs to an Orwellian society. Sarah Palin tweeted, apparently MSNBC doesn't think your children belong to you. Unflipping believable.
I thought when I first heard about it that she was just speaking off the cuff.
You are not sufficiently fired up, and I am. This is collectivism writ large, and I don't like it.
Children aren't born to the neighborhood watch. They're born to a man and a woman. There's a reason for that.
That's a great quote.
Hillary Clinton said it takes a village, but she never was going to say Chelsea should be raised by somebody else.
Exactly.
We fought an entire civil war, Megyn, to make sure that human beings were not considered property by the state or by anybody.
MSNBC, which we now, it's confirmed, stands for Maoist Socialist Nutballs Broadcasting Company, should send a shiver down every parent's spine.
She is not only a cable news host, but she is a professor at Tulane University.
Now, you may have thought that was a long montage. That was just a hint of the near constant coverage Fox News has devoted this all week. By best estimates, Melissa's promo has aired more times on Fox this week than on our own network, making it probably the most successful promo in the history of MSNBC. In fact, compare the 4 minutes Melissa's promo ran on our network since it was added to the Lean Forward mix last week to 62 minutes and 15 seconds of coverage the promo got last week on Fox. Joining me now is the one and only Melissa Harris Perry, and host of the eponymous weekend show here on MSNBC. I have to tell you, we were sitting in our workstations, watching every time we looked out. I was like, oh, it's Melissa. Oh, cool, it's Melissa. And I just, what is your understanding of why that happened?
Well, Chris, what I like is that I think you and I have a similar disposition towards a moment like this. I mean, it's not fun, right? No one. And
it's actually off. I mean, it sucks, if I can say that.
Sure, but I mean, it's the nature of public life,
yes,
right? So
totally.
I can remember that I said to folks that, I had this feeling when I saw Mrs. Romney on election night and how downcast her face was. And as the wife of a man who ran for public office, I get that moment. Totally. And whether we agree or don't agree, a
human moment, yes.
Absolutely. So it's not fun, but who cares, right? Because, my feelings are not the relevant question here. But the interesting thing is the curious moment, the thing that's worth asking the question about is, well, why? Why this? Of the various spots that all of us have done, of the many hours of television that I've produced on the show, what is it about this that raises the ire? And that's been, I think, for me, what's been, I guess, intellectually enjoyable over the past week, is trying to figure out what it is about those statements that distress people so much.
And So the next question is, what is it in your mind? Like, what have you come to?
Yeah, what I don't think, so I remember, I saw that you'd said, haters are going to hate. And I appreciated that. It was a kind of, intellectual chivalry that I enjoyed. Right. But I don't think it's just that. I don't think it's about hating. I'm going to talk much more about this on the show tomorrow.
I don't want to scoop you.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I'm talk much more about it on the show tomorrow. But I do think that there is a central question here about what we think of as negative and positive freedoms. Freedom to something, that's positive freedom, or negative freedom, freedom from something. And that is an old debate and a worthy debate.
Well, this serves as an amazing tease for your program tomorrow, which I will be watching right after watching Up with Steve Kornacki. Yep. I want to talk to you about this Rand Paul Howard speech, because I thought it was sort of a fascinating moment. I thought the reaction to it was really interesting, and then the reaction to the reaction. So I want to get your thoughts on that, along with the amazing Ta-Nehisi Coates and Matt Welch right after this.